What is good, everybody, and welcome to another NBA 2K Lab video on the 8th day of Swishmas as we go over the complete playmaking badge tier list for bigs and guards. And I feel like people have been enjoying these videos, so keep the comments, keep the likes coming. Now, if you're new to the channel, man, be sure to subscribe, and don't forget, we'll be running a 50% off code for our premium membership on the website nba2klab.com all the way through December. So if that interests you, you can head on over to that website. Now, without further ado, let's get right into that video. Now we're going to start with guards, and if you want to see the bigs tier list, you can find it in the time codes below. And this right here is for the park, but we'll talk about Pro-Am as well, as there's honestly not too much of a difference. As for my usual tier list, I like to get some of the S tier badges out of the way first, and for this one, I think everyone can agree that quick first step and unpluckable are S tier, no doubt. Quick first step is used in almost all situations, and since the pickpocket nerf, unpluckable provides really good ball security. Now let's start with the C tier badges, and there's some ones we can throw in there right away, like post playmaker, break starter for sure. We're not in the post, we're not grabbing rebounds for the outlet. Triple threat juke feels nearly worthless, and the boost doesn't justify spending any badge points on it. I'll throw in special delivery, and this is a badge I even like and use on bronze, but it's just because of my playstyle, and this badge doesn't provide enough utility to be justified amongst all the other good playmaking badges. Floor general is also a C tier badge, as it provides a boost to offensive attributes in a game that's already geared toward offense. Now we got ankle breaker, and I'm putting this in the B tier because with defenders running ankle braces, the frequency of stumbling or falling over animations are pretty low anyways. Now space creator is also a B tier badge. It can stun defenders with step back moves, but like I said, people are running ankle braces and it's just not that effective, so this doesn't happen too frequent. We can also put downhill in the B tier because if your job is to leak out on the fast break, you want to equip this badge. Typically that's going to be locks and off-ball sharps and Pro-Am. But if you're using this in park, it's best to use it to hunt threes by delaying the boost, which you can manually activate by just waiting to press turbo. Another badge that's been getting some love recently since the glitchy 6'9" Hall of Fame interceptor builds became a thing has been needle threader. Well, it's not going to stop those builds and it's not going to stop the interceptions, but it can provide a cleaner passing lane, which does make it useful in some cases. Now, hyperdrive was just an okay badge before, but since the left-right patch, this has been bumped up to A tier as it promotes more forward-like movement as opposed to horizontal movement. Now we have Dimer, and this is a badge I like personally and is definitely better suited in the park where we have it A tier, but it's more of a B tier badge in Pro-Am. Now we keep it in the A tier because although the Dimer definition states that it helps open shooters, it does in fact help with contested shots as well. And even bronze provides a decent boost for slightly mistimed shots. Stop and go is another great badge in the A tier and provides a solid boost at each level, but it's not as strong as some of the other playmaking badges, which we'll obviously go over in a little bit. Now glue hands to some may surprisingly be in the A tier, but the clean catches and being able to shoot quicker in certain situations is definitely nice. Now we got bullet passer, and if you watch our videos, you know we always recommend using this badge on the highest level you can, especially with how OP interceptor is this year. Definitely an S tier badge. All the badges left, of course, S tier, and I'll briefly go over why. Bailout, just on bronze to pass out of almost any shot. Handles for days can get up to a 155% increase in dribble moves before you run out of stamina on the Hall of Fame level. Tight handles can stun a lot of defenders using the right moves, especially if they aren't using ankle braces. And lastly, we have quick chain. The speed boost is insane, around 17% faster on Hall of Fame. And dribbling out of quick chain typically happens in the flow of the game anyway and stacks with other speed boosting badges. Now there it is, that's the playmaking badge tier list for guards in the park. The only Pro-Am difference really was that Dimer was bumped down to B tier and glue hands bumped to S tier, as there's less margin of error in Pro-Am. But now we're going to reset this list and work on the playmaking badge tier list for bigs in the park and Pro-Am. Now I'm starting this list off with some of these badges already in the C tier because as a big you can't access these in the first place, and I'll add to that list with special delivery. You could use it for oops if you have extra badge points, but wouldn't really touch it otherwise. Now downhill is another badge in the C tier because as a big you probably shouldn't be bringing the ball down the court anyways in transition, so it's definitely C tier badge. Triple threat juke, as we mentioned before, provides a minimal boost, so it's still in the same tier. And now we have Dimer, and we have it in the C tier because it wouldn't be activated much and it doesn't stack with post playmaker, so it's not very useful. Now one badge we have that's far better in Pro-Am than it is in park, which is break starter. With smaller court in the park, it's not necessary, but in the Pro-Am, it's definitely necessary for the receiver to catch cleaner passes on the longer court. Now we have floor general, and this is an interesting badge for bigs as you can provide a slight boost to everyone on your team without sacrificing much. As a big, you don't need a ton of playmaking badges, and if you have the extra, it's not a bad idea to equip it for your team. Still a B tier badge though. Now Needle Threader is another badge that didn't move from the previous tier list, as it can still be useful for bigs as well as guards. Now we have Post Playmaker, and this badge gives a great boost to shooters after an offensive rebound, and generally there's open shooters in that situation, so we have this badge in the A tier. Glue Hands, another great badge, and doesn't matter if you're running the pick and roll or just catching and shooting. It helps catch all passes cleanly, so it's definitely a good badge to equip. Another badge in the A tier is of course Bailout, and it was in the S tier for guards, and it's restricted to players 6'10 and under, which doesn't qualify for most bigs, but if you can get it, you only need to equip this on bronze. Now we have Bullet Passer, and this of course is S tier and hasn't moved from our last tier list either, along with Quick First Step and Unpluckable. You'll want those badges as high as you can get them, there's no debate. Now that will conclude our complete Playmaking badge tier list for bigs and guards for day 8 of our Switch Miss campaign. Let me know your thoughts on the list in the comments down below, and leave a like on the video if you didn't watch it, and also if you did. It is Spillboy, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Later.